Yeah, so this book is, man, it's a journey of years. 33 years to be exact is the process of putting it together was very interesting. And I have to give credit to Yahuchasad for giving me the strength, the mental strength, because it takes a lot to just focus. And then distractions come, and you just late hours and to just push this out. And it's one of those things to me where it's arguably and in fact the greatest work that the Most High has allowed me to do. And there's other things that I lost and maybe didn't make it into here, but this kind of just sums up my journey up into this point. So it's like one of the things I thought about the other day. It was like, well, if I didn't do another thing, and the Most High didn't allow me to do another thing or didn't have another breath, this would be part of the legacy that, people could, how people say, cliche, that I was here and in the name of Yahuchasad that I was able to share some of the experiences that he allowed me to live through and to suffer through and just to get to this point. So that's really the premise of the book, and the book is also the process, which is amazing to, the strength that it gives you, the mental strength. Because I think I went back on looking at a post and it was like somewhere in September, towards the end that, he gave me the idea to do the book after the event happened, because I think events happen to push you to the stage, because sometimes we don't understand, but things that happen to push you to a stage. It was like one of those examples, I think in Samson, where I think one thing happened where I think somebody, his wife or somebody got killed, don't quote me, but I think somebody got killed, and it pushed him, that anger that moment caused was able to, the Most High was able to use to push him to what else he had to do to go against the Philistines and to, so a lot of times things will happen, and that's kind of what happened with this when, I let my friend, well, I don't really know what you categorize him as. I wouldn't say a friend because, but the fact of the matter is that once I found out that he lost some of the writings or threw them away or whatever, that it kind of pushed me to say, man, the things that you have and the Most High give you are precious. It's like gems. Like imagine if you got this treasure chest and these things he's given you and entrusted you with, and your job is not even to even keep them. You know what I'm saying? So you have this chest with all these like awesome gemstones and these things. Oh man, yeah, look at this one. Yeah, I remember I got that one right, right there. And I was over in the corner, oh, this one right here, I got that one when I was over on this side, or I was traveling over here. So all these things are very precious, and you wouldn't want to just give them away or just leave them in a room, because that would be like, and that's kind of what I did with giving my, stuff away. And it was like, man, no, I can't do that. I can't say I'm a good steward. And he gives me these things and I just don't put them out, and I know one thing about writing, and you would see, people that have pre-ordered and get your orders and everything, is that, writing is always a process. I've learned that because I used to get really frustrated when I used to do, even, back in the day where I would get really frustrated when I would do writings and scripts, because I'm like, man, it's always another, it seems like there's always something. Man, I forgot that period. I forgot that, that I, or, but it's, what I learned, it's like life. Writing is like life. It's complete at the moment that it's complete, but it's always being perfected every moment. Like the scriptures say that, he who began a good work will bring it to completion, into that, to that time, to that day. But so it's it's a journey, and I'm learning that as a first time author. So I thank people for patience and getting this out and delays and everything. So, but I hope, you know, I know you have the ebook at this time, but I hope that as you get the physical copy, that I pray that you are not disappointed in what you read, and I look forward to hearing back from you. So I just want to give a quick. It's not going to take that long. I just want to give a quick commentary on, like, you know, just that film director thing. You know, if you're going over different scenes, you would go over different things about it. So I want to kind of give you that on some of these chapters and go over these 7 chapters really, and up into the promised land. So Open Letters just really was a collection of letters, because it started with my dad letter, and then it just multiplied into these letters from my mom, and letters to you know, the sisters and brothers, and it was more letters that I could put in there, but I felt like these were the ones that could relate to more people and more, you know, more people. And that's kind of just what the Most High also just gave me to give. And so these letters touch on a number of issues that are in our community, that are in, you know, ourselves. And so we're excited about that. And moving on to life lessons. Life lessons were those gems. You know, those little gems that you get, and it's like you wish you could share them to somebody. And it's like, that's why I think that's why when you go to the elders and older people, that they have all these gems and they have these stories, because they experienced so much and they've been through so much, they've seen so much. And so they got, so for each situation, they have a gem for it. Oh, it's like a remedy, like a doctor, like, oh, I got something for that. Well, I had flew over there and I met this person, you know. So they always have these little things, and so this is what that is these little gems that maybe you've been through those things, or maybe you might go through those things, and maybe it's a seed to say, oh, I remember that, what was in there, and so maybe you can take that and also put it to your treasure chest and use it whenever, there's a situation in which the Most High brings you through. And so the poems, man, I'm really excited about the poems. I really wanted to put poems first, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't put it at first. I had it, because when I was really seeking the Most High and guidance of just these chapters, one of these things, it reflects almost the journey. So each chapter is getting closer to the place that I am now. And so the poems, it was like the meat and like the very, it's in the middle almost. One step from the middle with the quotes. So it's like the meat of who I am. So when you read the poems, it's really like the deepest expression, where sometimes, Yahuwah, he'll give me these poems and I don't even know, what it's even saying. It's like painting, and then you go back and look at it like, wow, man. Because one of the things is interesting about writing is sometimes, you're also a person in the experience. So I'm experiencing it as well as you're experiencing, because I'm just a vessel. So it's not necessarily coming from me. It's based off some different experiences and different things like that. But I don't, all the way, I don't really know how to express that, and just letting it flow and the Creator gives me just the avenue to do that. So the poems is really, I don't want to say it's the most exciting part to me, but it probably is. It probably is the most exciting part. And then you have quotes. Quotes are these things. Sometimes he'll give me just a quote, and it'll just be very short, or sometimes it can be long. But it's very powerful things that are political, they're spiritual, They're, dealing with, the lost tribes here. So it's all these things are very, very just like those little gems. And then you get into the Revelations. So the book actually gets deeper. I think it gets deeper because when you get into Revelations, it gets more deeper. And a lot of the content can be very, very heavy. It can be very heavy when you get into the Revelations. But these are things that, I don't have any children right now. And if I don't, and having these notebooks and journals, it's just in there. And it's like, what am I doing with this? And that's what the Most High has been dealing with me about this year. He's gave me a phrase this year, which has been like, I think it may be like a lifetime phrase, empty the bag. Everybody's trying to talk about like, get the bag. But we have stuff in the bag that he's given us that we haven't gave away, So when we talk about empty the bag, that's just giving your all to, Yahuwah, to love him with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. That means everything you have, your whole essence, you give away freely and enjoy. And you're excited about it because you know that it will bring transformation for somebody else. So that is very exciting with the Revelations. And then you're getting to warfare, because after you have revelation and the greatness, I went through this when, I had the thing in back in college with, walking away from football. I had that big grand moment where the Most High kind of spoke through this lady he did, spoke to this lady, and it was just amazing. And then after those moments, you have, kind of like back to reality type moments. And then you have the warfare that ensues after that, because that warfare is going to test the word that you received. Do you believe what you got, and how steadfast will you be upon it? There's I believe it's in Deuteronomy chapter 8 where he says that allow them to go through the great trouble wilderness to see what was in their heart, to test him. So sometimes, he'll give you this grand moment and it's awesome, and then boom, you're back to reality. And then he's going to test you to see, do you believe what he said? So that's part of it. And then you get into that. Once you pass that warfare stage and you're comfortable with it, that doesn't mean that warfare is over. It still continues, but you now are at a different level, or a different dimension, I should say. Somebody, sowed that into my life recently, that, levels are the same building, but another dimension is a whole nother, total different world. So, but then you, after the warfare, and you're not say comfortable with it, but you understand it, you know how to fight, in war, then you make it to the promised land. And this is the last chapter is what I've really been still in this moment understanding, because sometimes you can think about, okay, well, man, they got to the promised land. It was awesome, parade, and it was a parade and the balloons and the confetti and all that, you know what I'm saying? But the reality is, when they got to the promised land, it had just really begun. The journey had just really begun, and that's when all the previous chapters of their life came into play, and then they had to bring it all together. So you had the warfare, you had the lessons, the life lessons that you had to practice, and you had to put all these things because now it was game time. And so that's the level I'm coming into, where it's a lot of turbulence, and it's a lot of battles, because hey, yeah, they made it to the promised land, but guess what? There were giants in there. There were a race of giants. So yeah, this is all yours, but guess what? There's some giants that live in there, and they're not going to go very friendly. You know what I'm saying? But the good thing is that our master and Savior, Yahuchasad, that he is a man of war, and so with us being on his side, we're going to win. You know what I'm saying? That's what we can bank on and know for sure, that we're going to win, no matter what it looks like, and no matter how hard it gets, that we're going to win. And so we keep that in mind, and we understand that it's not going to be peaches and cream, but the battle is already won. And so that's the process I'm kind of in. It's still that last chapter that, going into there, crossing over the Jordan and about to go to, Jericho and fight the giants, in the film industry and all these different entertainment industries with the master, is because he is given us strength, and through him we can do all things. So that's where we at. That's what the commentary is on these chapters, man. And I'm excited. I really want to hear from you. Not just because the reviews, but I do want to get reviews. Just a quick plug. I do want to get reviews. If you got a book and you're listening to this, because this is exclusive, I got to get that review. Just a plug. But no, I really want to hear what you have to think and say about this. And I know a lot of the content's heavy, and I know some of the content may offend you. So if you're offended, let me know. If you're sad, let me know. Whatever you feel, whatever comes across, let me know. You can email me. You can leave it on the website. Long as you just don't, just get, hopefully get on an irate thing where you just want to just come at me. But so I hope you enjoyed this commentary, which is give you a little bit of insight on these chapters. So I appreciate you. I really appreciate you getting this book. And I'm excited about the things that it will do in your life and how the Most High will use it as a tool to help you. So we're out.